Hey, welcome back to Dating to Win. Today's conversation is one of the most important interviews I've done on this channel. My guest tonight is Lang. Lang is an educated, successful medical practitioner. She is articulate, intelligent, and hardworking. And recently, she became the victim of a 6-month romance and cryptocurrency scam that cost her approximately $1.6 million. She had sold 2 houses. She was hoping to move to Boise, Idaho, and buy her dream home. She was planning a new chapter in her life. Instead, a man posing as a successful business owner who invested in cryptocurrency manipulated her emotionally and financially. He convinced her that he could help her make money, and over time he took the proceeds from her home, a major portion of her retirement savings, and much of what she had worked her entire life to build. I want to say something very clearly before we begin. This story is not about someone being foolish. This story is not about someone being unintelligent. This story is about professional criminals who know how to manipulate trust, hope, emotion, loneliness, and timing, and people's dreams. Lang is here tonight to tell her story in her own words. Lang, thank you for being willing to have this conversation. I know that it's not easy, and I truly appreciate your courage. So welcome to Dating to Win. How are you?
Thank you, Matt. It's a pleasure to be here.
Lang, before this man came into your life, can you take us back and tell us what your life was like?
Certainly. I have been divorced for about 14 years. I devoted my time going back to school, put myself through nurse practitioner school. I had built a very successful career as a nurse practitioner and travel extensively for work. One of my favorite places to work and live was Boise, Idaho. I have long-term plans. I intended to, after selling all my 3 homes, I intended to move to Boise, buy a house, pay cash for it, and plan to retire in a couple of years and start to travel, see the world. I was just waiting for the 3rd home to be sold. And then all of a sudden, the company that I work for, they asked me to work remotely from home. And my home was in Lubbock, Texas. So I never worked in Lubbock before, but I live in Lubbock. Not having any friends, working remotely from home was very lonely and wanted to put myself out there. And I signed up for Facebook dating. And that's when I met my scammer.
Okay, so it was the app Facebook Dating that you met him. And what was the name that he went by or went under?
He went by Jaden Chen, a Chinese national, lived in the U.S. for approximately 25 years.
Okay.
He poses himself as a successful businessman owning a branding and marketing company with 3 offices, one in San Francisco, New York City, and Houston, Texas.
So this is very different from any of the other romance scam interviews that we've had. They're either inaccessible, working out on a rig, or they're in Dubai. But this gentleman represented himself as being a U.S. citizen, owning and operating a successful business with 3 locations.
Right. No, when I came across his profile, I noticed it was San Francisco, and I was living in Lubbock. I indicated I didn't want any long-term or long-distance relationship. I only wanted to date local men. And he convinced me that, what is the harm in talking? If we have a real connection, he would come to one of his office in Houston, and then from Houston he'll come and see me in Lubbock.
Okay, so it looks like he approached you on Facebook Dating.
If I remember correctly, his profile came up and I hit a like on one of his pictures, but he approached me, yes.
Okay.
He pursued me, yes.
Okay, so he pursued you, and at first were you like, this could work, or were you like, I don't mind chatting with this guy, let's see where it goes?
I figured we have the same background. He's Chinese, I'm Chinese. I was born in Cambodia, but my ancestors from China. So I figured this could work because we have common culture.
Okay. And you start striking up a conversation. Did it stay online through the Facebook dating app, or did it quickly move offline?
It did not stay Facebook very long. He asked me for my number, and then he discovered that once he entered my number into his phone, I was already on WhatsApp. So we quickly moved to WhatsApp. He said that WhatsApp was more safe and more encrypted.
Okay. And how long was it before you really started falling for this person?
For me, it struck me as odd. After communicating with him every single day for 2 weeks, he started to confess to me that he loves me. At the time, I thought, but isn't that a little bit premature to tell somebody that you love them when you have only talked to them for, a couple of weeks? And I even asked him, have you already fallen in love with me? This is very quick and sudden. He's just, make some excuses and said that the heart knows what the hearts want. And
so he knew just what to say.
Right.
So when you say you were talking for 2 weeks, were you just texting, or were you actually hearing his voice on phone conversations?
And before we, start a daily conversation, we did a video chat. He called me on WhatsApp.
Okay.
The call lasted like 8 minutes. And then subsequently, it was just all messaging through WhatsApp.
So if you don't mind me asking, tell me about that 8-minute conversation. Was it AI, now that you look back on it, or was it actually this gentleman sitting in front of a camera? Was he answering specific questions that you were asking, or was it just like, oh, you're more beautiful than I thought, where he was leading the conversation?
Looking back, it looks too clean. It looks like there's an office in the background. There's a bookshelf. So it looks like it was all an AI type. And he always has a baseball hat on.
Yes.
In the course of 6 months, we talked to each other video chat about 4 times.
Okay.
And each time it was always an appointment, like, okay, I want to talk to you. And he'll say, okay, what day and what time you want to talk. It's never spontaneous. It's always an appointment to talk.
I see. Do you think, in hindsight, looking back, that you were dealing probably with 2, 3, 4 individuals that were assuming this role of this person?
Looking back, I think so, because as the time went on, I wanted more phone calls, I wanted more chat, and he just wouldn't do it. Okay. Every time I asked for one, he said, whatever you have to say, just text it to me. And I said, well, when I think it was one of those visits that he was supposed to meet me in person, and he failed to show up. I said, well, I want to talk to you. He said, why? I said, well, I want to make sure that you're at the airport, because if you video chat me, I will know whether or not you're at the airport.
Absolutely.
And he refused to do it. He just would not do it. And another time when I said, no, I'm not investing any more into this cryptocurrency thing. I don't have any more money. I'm not doing it. I said, well, I need you to call me and talk to me. I'm not doing any more texting. It took a lot of pushing and pushing to get him to call, because if I call, he doesn't pick up. But when he called, he knows that I would pick up. The one time that he called, I could not understand a single word he was saying. His accent was so thick. And this was different than the person that I video chat with.
So there was numerous individuals you were conversing with. And
Right.
Lang, if I can ask you, did it seem odd to you? I mean, you've been married, you've been in dating relationships before. Did it raise a red flag to you that, hey, this is odd. Why can't I just talk to this guy when I want to? We're supposed to be in love.
It did. But, I think I was emotionally, and it clouded my judgment, because I have already fallen for this person, that I always make the excuse. I said, maybe he's busy. Maybe he doesn't have time. And he always often say too, that when you're on the phone, you can't do anything else. But if you're texting, you can multitask and do something else and just take the time to answer it or text back. It was odd that he wasn't more spontaneous with the phone calls, the texting, and the video chat.
So if I can ask you, at what point, time frame, did you feel that you emotionally fell for this guy? You were in love, hook, line, and sinker.
I think it's more like maybe, 4 or 5 weeks into the conversation.
Okay.
Because after he confesses his love, I think I followed suit shortly after. It was that constant communication. He showed very interested in my life and what I'm doing, what I'm having for lunch or dinner, all that normal routine
As
people ask you.
as
Yeah.
if he were living with you or planning a future with you. And if I can just push back a little bit and ask, prior to meeting this person, were you dating anyone? Were you dating numerous people?
Not really. I wasn't dating anybody in particular. I was so involved in my work because I travel for work all the time. I fly back and forth, back and forth. And I was never in one place long enough to really establish relationship. That's why when I was in Boise for almost 2 years, I've always flown in and then stay for a month, come back home, and then go back for another month. It was always something like that. So I had made some friends in Boise, but not dating. I wasn't dating anybody.
Okay.
Occasionally, I would say in my past 14 year being divorced, yes, I dated here and there, but nothing serious.
So would you say, with the constant traveling and just being on that hamster wheel of working all the time, do you feel that it created a sense of loneliness within you?
Definitely. I was lonely and I was vulnerable when I came back to Texas to live and to work from home. I didn't have any friends. The only person I have was my son, and he's an adult, so he was working full time, so I don't get to see him. He doesn't live with me. He has his own place. So it was hard trying to have a normal relationship.
And do you feel, looking back now, you wouldn't have thought of it at the time, do you feel that he was asking certain questions of you to figure out your level of vulnerability, or if you were lonely?
Definitely.
Can you give me an example?
Well, the one very obvious one is that he asked me what my dreams are, where I want to live, what I want to do when I retired, and how many more days or weeks or month I'm working in order to finally settle down and retire. In fact, he even offered or suggested that in order for us to start our lives together, all I have to do is quit my job and then we can start traveling together.
Okay.
And I took that to heart because I was almost retired because I only work when I want to work, and I was ready to find somebody special to share that life with.
And do you feel this gentleman, I should use that term loosely, I know a lot of times I use that on the other scam, romance, and abuse that we've done, and people go ballistic in the comments, so I'm using that term very loosely, but do you feel that this gentleman kind of played into your daily routine, where he became part of your life and part of your future?
Definitely. He learned my dreams and then used those dreams to influence my decisions. He repeatedly connected cryptocurrency investment to my goals of purchasing a home in Boise and retired comfortably. Gradually, that feeling of love, trust, the loyalty, and the financial decision making became intertwined with the romance. We were starting to say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to buy a house. So the decision was pretty much entwined with what's going on. And hindsight, yes, it was well calculated, it was well planned.
And at what point did you start opening up about your finances, what you had in the bank?
It was pretty early because he asked, what am I investing in order to get to my goal? I said, nothing special. I have 401k, which I have not seen because you just invest and then you forget about it. That what I have is just what I got from my home. And at the time, I had mentioned that I put it in the E-Trade in an ETF because I'm just waiting, to liquidate that once my third home is sold. And with me mentioning that, he wanted to know how much my new house going to cost, and I told him about $800,000 to $1 million, and I want to pay cash for that because I don't want to take out a loan. And I think right there the light bulb went off that he knew that I had money and exploited that option.
Did you feel that he picked up the pace at that point? your conversations became more money oriented?
I believe so.
Yeah.
You know, he was very persistent in pushing the cryptocurrency. He would send me a snapshot of what he was investing and how much money he was making from that. He would suggest that I should try it, maybe like 1,000 or 5,000, and see if I like it. I was resistant to it. I said I wasn't interested in short-term investment. I'm a big fan of Warren Buffett, long-term investment. And then he asked me, how much money are you making from ETF thing? I said, well, right now it's losing money because it's not doing well. And at that time, the market has a dip, you know, and it wasn't doing well. So I lost maybe about 75,000 from what I had put in. So he said, well, you could make that back plus more. If you just listen to me, I will guide you, I will direct you, I will instruct you. I said, no, I'm not sending you any money, you know. He said, you're not sending me any money. Everything, you are responsible for everything. You're going to download the app, you're going to create your own account, and you're going to wire your own money. And I just help you which one to invest, because that's how much I love you and I want to help you so that we could get our life together.
So it seems pretty clean at this point. His hands aren't on the money. He didn't ask for a loan. He didn't ask you to back him into finances. As far as you know, he was a marketing expert that dabbled in currency.
As far as I know, you know, he didn't, it was a clean, trustworthy. Money was never sent to him. It was me opening out my own account, me wiring money into my own account, and then from there it goes into a purchasing of cryptocurrency, and from the cryptocurrency it goes into an on-chain wallet. I think the wallet was where I lost the money, is that I did not know that when I was sending the money to the wallet, it did not go into my own wallet. It went into the scammer's wallet. And they give me a link, you know, within the on-chain wallet, a link for a website that is ckrcoin.com. That's where my wallet, where my balance is. Every single time we make any transactions, that balance goes up, you know.
If I can ask you, Lang, did he send you a link to download this first app to start trading, or did you go to the App Store?
I went to the App Store on my phone.
Okay, so do you feel that app was a legitimate app, or it was staged and put there?
I feel it is a legitimate app. You know, because even today, when I contact them, they contacted me back, send the information back. It is where it went wrong. I believe it was the wallet, because during the process of doing these trading, different platform, and I'm talking about Coinbase, Kraken, Strike, and some other platform, they noticed that, you know, money going in converted into cryptocurrency, and then money currency went out to an external wallet. So this happened multiple times, and the platform closed my account down or put a stop to further trading. Okay, and I never thought anything of it other than, this is bullshit, you know. It's like, it's my own money. Why are they like putting a stop to this? You know, I'm not doing anything illegal.
Why were they?
I guess they recognized it, that it was going to an illegal wallet, or a wallet that was not part of the platform wallet.
Okay, so just so I understand, when you first started trading, I'm guessing he made it look like you were just slamming it out of the park, home run. You were able to see what you were making each day?
Each time we trade, I was able to see. And in fact, after we finished the trading and it goes into my wallet and the amount goes up, he said, go ahead and withdraw your money. Go ahead and withdraw your money. In the beginning, the total balance was low, so I went ahead and withdrew. And I did this, you know, over several times. You know, I withdrew the money, and it went right back into my account, my external bank account. You know, Wells Fargo, Citibank. It went right back in, and I was able to see it the same minute that I actually moved the money over.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
so that developed trust,
Exactly.
that I trust that, okay, this is legitimate. The money did not go into his account. Money went right into my wallet and then back out into my account.
Okay. And by the time we've reached this point where you're seeing it hit the Wells Fargo account, how much had you invested?
It wasn't much. I would say it's about 20,000 maybe. It's just a small amount. And he said the same thing enticed me to like invest more. If you put 200,000, imagine how much more you would be making. And then it would be increased to 400,000 to 600,000 and then 800. And then he said, if you put $1 million, instead of making 12%, you'll be making 22%. It would be in a different bracket for investment, and then I just, after I got to 600, I just didn't have any more liquidated cash because I did not want to tap into my 401k. But he was relentless, constantly pushing me, pressuring me.
So the 600,000 was the proceeds that you had from the sale of these 2 homes or 3
from
homes?
the sale of the 2 homes, my salary, because I was continuing to work and generate income. Yeah, it was pretty much the majority of it is from the proceeds of the home.
Oh, that's tough. So you're 600,000 into it at this point, and you're still able to see that you're making a good return, obviously, because you ended up putting more money in. Tell me what happens at that point.
So at that point, he told me there's going to be a favorable node coming up. He had men that works for him, and they will monitor the market, and they'll let him know when that favorable node will appear more stable to invest. He said he would only invest or trade when there is a 95% chance of not losing the money, of making money.
Okay.
And you have to be prepared. People that are prepared ahead of time. By prepared is you gotta move the money in, go already converted into cryptocurrency, would just sit there, because when the node comes, then you can almost like bet on the trade that you're gonna win. So I said, no, I don't have any more. I'm content with just at that level right now. I don't need to make 22% or high. I'm okay, content with that. And then a story behind that is my brother had asked me to help him out. He wanted to make a business deal, and he asked me if I would be the financial lender for him. He would give me the money, and I would just on paper lending him the money. Okay. Whatever he put is what I lend back to him. The lawyer asked for like a bank statement, and I said, well, I don't have any bank statement. The only statement I have was in the E-Tray, and all that money in the E-Tray is now in cryptocurrency. And he said, well, just ask them for a statement. And I went to the website to look for the statement. I couldn't find a place to ask for a statement. So I asked this Jaden, I said, how do I request for a statement? My brother needs a statement to show the lawyer. And he said, oh, it will take 1 to 3 weeks. You have to send customer service a message on the platform. And I did that, and I waited. Nothing happened. And I kept asking, nothing happened. And finally, 3 weeks came along. I said, hey, it's been 3 weeks now. Where is that? But in the meantime, that 3 weeks, we were doing some more trading, and the account built up. That was one of the red flags too. I remember thinking to myself, what financial institution wouldn't be able to provide a statement?
Exactly. Usually they're online on demand.
Right, on request. Why would it take 3 weeks to get a statement? Right?
Absolutely.
But I was patient. And when that didn't happen, we had already made trade by now. The account, I used my brother's money, which was the 200,000, to bring it up to 800,000. Okay. So he said that, if I can bring it up to 800,000, not $1 million, 800,000, because long ago I abandoned. I said, no, we're not doing this anymore. We're not putting any more money in. But then I put another 200, because that 200 came into my possession. Figure, okay, let's do this. So he said, if I can come up with 800,000 total, he'll transfer 200,000 from his own account into mine so that we can trade together, and he will guide me through this. And you'll see that you'll be able to get your your home within a couple of months versus waiting a couple of years to buy them.
So Lang,
So,
excuse me one second. I want to go back because it seems like all your conversations at this point were about finances. You're talking by text message. If you could rate a percentage, how much of the text messages in a given day were about money and investing, and how many were about building your future? I love you, sweetie. I miss you. I can't wait to see you in person.
I would say more than 60% were about finances, and the other was just routine. Good morning, honey, in the morning, make sure you eat, make sure you do this, make sure you do that, eat on time, send me a picture when you're out walking or exercising. And then at nighttime, most of the conversations about finances happen mainly in the evening and at nighttime.
Okay, so he was very careful to make sure it balanced. In other words, that he was still able to keep you under his spell, but also keep his hand in your purse at the same time.
I would say so, yes.
Okay, all right. So I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. So tell me, we've got $800,000 invested. He's putting $200,000 of his own money in, and tell me what happens.
Okay, so after that, there maybe 2 weeks later, he said, okay, open your on-chain wallet or open your crypto.com app. We're going to do this trade, going to happen within the next 30 minutes. Okay, so we did a major trade, and the fake profit came back at like 227,000 after it was all done and said. And then he said, go ahead and take your money and put it back into your external account. So we need to back up a little bit. I think at one point or another, I took out some money from the 401k because I wanted to reach the account balance sooner. Okay. But you have to understand is that, $200,000 cash is not equivalent to 200 cryptocurrency. It's a lot less because of the fee. Okay. And there are multiple times where the platform said, no, we're returning your money. You're not trading with us anymore. And then we have to convert it back. And then by the time it gets to my bank and then put it back, I would have already lost about 20,000 out of the 200.
Wow. Just in exchange fees.
Just exchange fee.
Okay.
So we got to 800. He transferred 200,000 over, and we made now over $1 million now. And he said, go ahead and withdraw your money, whatever amount you want, put it back, put it back in your 401k, return it to your brother, whatnot. So I did that same evening after we're done, and it took like half an hour and nothing happened. I wasn't worried about it because I figured it'll show up a large amount. Wire transfer or electronic transfer takes some time, plus it's nighttime, right? So the next day he said, check your message, check this or check that. So I saw it and I read it and I didn't understand it. It said that my account is frozen due to suspicions that I'm money laundering because my account over 2 months or 3 months time, my account went from zero to over $1 million. You have to prove to us that these are your money by depositing more money into it because we want to know what kind of profession you work in, where you get this money. It sounds very legitimate, like proof that I'm not money laundering.
And this is coming from the cryptocurrency application. Correct.
This is coming from the ckrcoin.com because that's where my wallet is.
So, okay, from the wallet. Okay.
Correct. So on top of having my account froze and they wanted 12% margin, which came out to over 120 something thousand. Okay. And I said, I don't have any more money to do this. So I said, well, you're going to have to help me pay for this. He said his account was frozen too because he transferred the 200,000 into my account. Therefore, his account is linked to my account until I fix my account. He has no money. He has no access to his account.
So that was convenient and very convincible at that point. So what did you have to do to free up this account, or what did they say you had to invest?
Well, I have no other liquid asset because my house is still listed for sale, the third one. And I couldn't take out a personal loan, nor could I take a home equity loan. Mind you, all of which he said, sell your house. I said, it's already on the market. He said, take out a home equity loan. I said, I already tried that because that was my next thing. Can't do that because my home is already on the market, and your home has to be off the market for a minimum of 2 months before you borrow against the home.
Exactly.
So I could not do that. And he knew that too. And then he said, well, take out a personal loan. By then I have already quit my job. Okay. I said, can't do that either because nobody's going to loan me money if you have no job.
Exactly.
You have to have an ability to pay it back. He sent me all kinds of links to apply for loan. I said, nope. He said, I entertained his idea about it. He said, apply for 100,000, request for 100,000. I said, I couldn't even get 5,000 from this website. You think they're going to give me 100,000? So the pressure was on me to come up with the money. You're going to lose your money if you don't pay these fees,
So there was real tension in the relationship.
Right. So I have no choice but to call my 401k company and said, I need to take out more money. You need to take out money. And they were concerned, they even make me sign all kinds of waiver that they advise me, and I still want to do this,
Oh, that's tough. So how much more did you take out? We had 800,000 invested at this point.
It ended up, there were 3 different fees assessed. The first one was the money laundering fee. The second one was after I paid it, they said that I would be clear, I would be able to access my account and withdraw and do whatever, even close out my account. The second, and as soon as I paid that, it ended up, instead of 100 something, I end up using about 184,000 in order to pay the 120 something thousand fee.
Okay.
And then after that, immediately that same night, he told me, go ahead and withdraw your money. Your account is now clear and all that. So I went ahead and withdraw the same amount, the 210,000 that I initially wanted to withdraw. At that time, the same thing happened. It's like, your account is frozen due to blah, blah, blah. So I read it and I said, I don't even understand what this is. He said, well, you got to pay 6%. Now the balance is over, $1.4 million or something like that already.
Wow.
You have to pay. I said, I already did. And if this happened, why would I pay again? Because this is starting to look like scam,
Exactly.
And he said, it's not a scam. I said, how do you know? He said, I've been doing this for the last 6-7 years, not a scam. I said, if you've been doing this, now we're fighting, I said, then you should have known that you should never transfer your money into my account,
Exactly.
He said, well, he never did it before. He transferred the 200,000 because he only had my best interest in mind. Because that's how much he loved me. He wanted to send me the money so that I can get the house, get my money and all that. Long story short, I said, the cost of my stress is all you. I wondered, what is it that you are after? Is it my money, or are you truly interested in me? Doesn't seem like you're interested in me. It seems like this is all about money, and this is sound more and more like scam. In the meantime, after I paid after the second one, the website ckrcoin.com went down. And
so you did pay the 6%? Okay.
The second one, yeah. Okay. I paid the second one. And I said, why can't I get access to my account? My balance the website is no longer there. By then I have already did some research on my own and asked ChatGPT, what is the reason behind crkcoin.com going offline? And the website didn't tell me it was a scam. It just say it has a low trust
rating
score.
Yes.
A low trust score. Most likely is scam. Do not send in money. Do not give me all that warning. And I went to him. I snapshot and sent it over to him. I said, you are a scam. This is what I found, right? He put doubts in me and caused chaos, caused confusion. Basically tells me that you don't trust me. You trust a machine to tell you this. I am your husband. You should trust me. I only want you to have the vacation, the trip, the home, all that dreams and all that
the life that you told him.
Materialistic things, right? And so he twisted and put it back on me that he only have my best interest at heart, and we need to resolve this money so that he can have access to his money.
Okay, so you've got over 1.6 million invested at this point. We've liquidated the funds that you had as proceeds from the sale of your houses. Is the third house still up for sale at this point, or has that been liquidated?
At this point, it was already sold. Before I moved to New Jersey, my sibling told me to just get rid of the house because it's now a stressor on me. I wasn't working. I was just doing telemedicine online, and my mind wasn't even in telemedicine or work anymore by that point. So, yeah, my brother told me not to pay anymore. By the third one, I said, I don't know. I feel like I need to pay this because now my credit score has gone down. I asked, well, how is credit score have anything to do with investment?
Exactly.
And they said, well, because you have so many late payment. I said, what payment? It's all that fee they assessed it on me. They said that because I make partial payment, that reduces my credit score.
No, I understand exactly where they're going at this point. So things are tense between you and this person. When did the light bulb light up and tell you, I've been had here?
Yeah, I was slow to that because I was in denial. My brother told me it's a scam, and I didn't believe him. I said, there are people doing this. Why is it a scam? Because I was still trusting that the website was legitimate. Okay, so I say by November 21st. Okay. By then, I had already paid the third fees, which was $240,000 in crypto dollar. So I basically took over $900,000 from 401k to pay fees. There's fees alone. Okay. So by then, he failed to meet me 4 different times physically, and I was overseas by then. I had to be in Thailand for another personal reason. And he failed to meet me. We were supposed to go to this trip together, and he kept delaying it. And I finally said, I have to get to Thailand. I had a deadline to meet. I got to go there. So I got there 2 days later. He texted me up until the 21st. And then on the 20th, November 20th, was the last communication I had from him. On the 21st, he went silent.
How about that?
Yeah, he went silent. And that's when it hit me that, oh my God, I just been scammed. Oh my God, I lost all this money.
And you're in Thailand.
I couldn't even find tears to cry. I was in
shock.
Shock.
Yeah.
Yes. I was in shock. I could not imagine. It was like, oh my God, this is real.
It's painfully real. So just to recap for our viewers, we've liquidated our home equity, which you had sitting in the bank to buy in Boise. We've tapped over $900,000 out of a 401k, which has its tax implications too. And then you had $200,000 of your brother's money that was lost. So tell me, what was that period in your life like?
I was so depressed.
Oh.
I didn't want to tell anybody about it. My brother has a transaction he has to complete, and it was waiting for me to give the okay. Yes, okay, I'm ready to do this for you now. I didn't have a choice but to sell the house and then use that money to return it to him.
To your brother, to make him whole so he could finish this business transaction.
Yes.
How has your family been through all this?
They have been very supportive. They wished I had told them sooner that, what I was going through. They wish that I would have opened up to them and talked to them about this romance or meeting somebody.
And if I can stop you there, did Jaden discourage sharing information about him or the fact that you were even planning a future with him, with your family? Your family didn't know that you were chatting with this guy online?
No,
Okay.
they did not know.
Okay.
a very private person, and I'm also a very quiet person. In a sense, that's what my downfall is, because I don't open up and share with other people, friends. I mean, I mention it to my kids that I met somebody. I mention it to a friend in Boise, because we were going to go traveling together. So I mentioned it to her. And in fact, I was in Hawaii. This romance was happening. I was with these two friends, and they knew about that I met somebody. I told them bits and pieces about it, but I didn't openly discuss it on what's going on. He's asking me to do this. He we're investing in crypto. In fact, I think at more than one occasion, he kept saying, "Don't tell anybody about us investing in crypto." And that should have been a red flag right there. And then the other is, when you go to the bank, don't mention about crypto.
Absolutely, because they probably would have warned you. So if I can ask you this, I want our viewers to hear this from you directly. What does it feel like to realize that someone used your heart, your trust, and your planned future against you?
I can't describe the feeling. It's like a betrayal. It's like a punch in the gut. Somebody pulled a rug from underneath me and left me there to die, basically.
And Lang, what bothers you more, losing the money or losing a love that you thought you had?
It's a double whammy. Initially, I was heartbroken. I feel it was the love that not only did I lose my love, I lost my money. I thought I found the love of my life. In December 9th is when I reported to authority.
Okay.
I did it from overseas. I called the local police and did the report over the phone. And then I did the ic3.gov, reported online, and I did that online.
And that's the FBI. Did anyone get back to you? Did anyone call you to interview you?
No, nobody did. When I got back to the state, which was a week before Christmas, after the holidays, I went directly to the FBI local office in Lubbock, Texas. I made an appointment with them. I brought all my documents with them, and I spoke with a field special agent. And he interviewed me, got the information, and he was frank with me. He said, "I got to be honest, we're not going to be able to recuperate any of this. Consider it's gone."
Wow. Did they even consider it a crime, or they felt that you freely gave this money up? What was their attitude like toward you?
Their attitude was, they said it was a crime and it was on the rise. There's so many people reporting it. Okay, because it is mostly overseas, there's nothing they could do about it.
Exactly. And did you struggle with shame after all this happened?
I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. I didn't want to tell anybody, not even my own kids, not even my own family. I was so depressed.
And this has been about 6 months now?
Yes, since November. So what, 7 months?
Okay.
Yep.
And what would you say to someone watching who has been scammed or feels embarrassed? What would you recommend to them?
I would say it is not your fault. These scammers are professional.
They are.
They are doing this for a living. In fact, it is so profitable to them that they have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And I would say, don't trust anybody that you have not sat in front and have an eye-to-eye conversation physically in front of you. And don't invest in anything that you don't understand.
And we're going to get a lot of comments. We always do. We always get the Monday morning quarterbacks, the naysayers. So what would you say to people who blame victims and say, how could someone fall for something like this?
I experienced that firsthand. My sibling thinks the same thing. They don't say it to me, but they say it behind my back, that we thought she was so smart.
Well,
How could she let this happen?
and I
How
think a
could she
lot of
let,
people,
yeah, how could she let somebody scam her? What they don't understand is we didn't let them scam us. If we knew it was a scam, we would not have done it, you know?
you are so right, because I think a lot of people that are going to have the harsh comments, they underestimate how skilled these scammers are at
Hmm.
emotional manipulation.
Manipulation,
And
yeah.
this guy you had sounds like he was a real 5-star pro.
Oh, he's a professional, definitely. And it's not just him. I'm sure there's a team of people there, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. I work in the prison system where manipulation is seen, practiced every single day there. You see it in front of me, you know, working in the prison.
I
And
bet
yet
you
I
do.
didn't even recognize that I was being manipulated and being scammed.
So, what does rebuilding look like for you right now as of today?
It's going to be tough, especially because I have so much tax consequences on the money that I took out. So, rebuilding it, I say at least I'm healthy. I can always make that money back. I still have my education to fall back on. I am in a good field that I can get work anytime, anywhere, any location I want to work. So
You're very
I
blessed.
will make those money back.
And I have a
And
feeling you will. I really do. I have 100% confidence in you.
thank you.
So, how has this changed the way you look at trust?
Oh, I don't trust. Trust is a big issue now, especially when it comes to romance. I would say eventually, you know, it's the wall will be broken down, and I will, I have not lost faith in love, but it will be a slower pace.
And if I can ask, are you dating right now?
No,
Do you have any interest in dating?
I do. I do.
Okay.
In fact, somebody was showing an interest in me, and I, I guess it was moving too fast. It's this Facebook thing just messed ruined me.
Without a
It
doubt.
just messed me up, because I don't trust and I'm not ready to date. In a sense, I I just look at dating differently now. I do want to date. I do want to find somebody, but I'm not in a hurry to do that.
And what gives you strength right now? What is it that's keeping you together?
Oh, it's tough. Because I'm in the medical field and I know what depression looks like and I know how to treat depression. I force myself to be physically active by going outside every single day, go for a walk, go to the gym, just staying physically and mentally active. So I keeps my mind active. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. Um, I work full time and I join the gym and I just have gotten, I'm learning how to do bachata dance, So I'm out there trying to be
Good for you.
physically active.
Good for you.
Um,
It's the healthiest thing you can do for your mind. And you
yeah,
know that.
occupies my mind
Yep.
and try to forget my past.
Lang, we had spoken before we started recording the session today, and I had mentioned to you, I can't thank you enough for sharing the story, because this video will probably have a shelf life of about 15 years, and you will probably save 100 viewers what you went through by seeing this video. So I'm going to ask you this. What would you tell someone whose online romantic interest starts talking about crypto, Bitcoin, investing, or making money together? What would you say to that
I
person?
would say run and get away from that person. Don't do it.
Okay,
It's a scam.
very good.
95% of crypto are scam.
Without a doubt. And it's really the Wild West, because a lot of it is unregulated at this point.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's just open prey right now for these scammers.
I said if sharing my story helps even one person recognize the warning signs and avoid becoming a victim, then this is something positive for me that comes out of this painful experience.
And it is painful. I mean, 1.6 million. You are very much like me. We grew up in the Philadelphia area. We're not from wealthy families. This was your life savings. You had worked so hard to get to this point. And for me to hear it, it's just absolutely heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to family members who are trying to warn a loved one, but that loved one doesn't want to believe what they're saying?
I say families should support the victims without judgment. The victim needs that compassion, understanding, and encouragement, not blame. It's all about that psychological manipulation and the timing for these scammers. So we were all caught up in it, and it is putting blame on the victim just make things worse.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah. Just being there for them is enough.
So what does the future look like for you right now?
Well, I think the future is not as bright as I had imagined. I sort of lost my confidence in my own judgment,
Exactly.
and I think I lost a sense of security about my own future.
Okay. I have a feeling that if I need to look you up in 10 years, I'm going to find you in Boise. Have you abandoned that dream, or are you still shooting for Boise, Idaho?
I don't know if that's even possible anymore. Boise is a beautiful place, but it's so expensive.
It is. Yeah. It is. But I've had other friends that have moved there, and interesting enough, they were kicking and screaming going there, and to this day they are still there. So it must be an amazing place. So, Lang, one final question. After everything that you have been through, what do you hope your story does for someone who's watching this today?
I hope that it would save them from being scammed. I hope that family can support the victim without making any judgment on them, and just being there and telling them it's okay. We'll get through this together. And I'm thankful for my family because they invite me to move over and they will help me start over. So I want somebody to have the same support that I have.
That's wonderful. And family is everything. It's more important than money. And I think you probably can say that firsthand after what you've gone through. Lang, I want to thank you for trusting us with your story today. What happened to you was not stupidity. It was not weakness. It was emotional manipulation at its finest. This gentleman was, like I said, 5-star actor. It was definitely financial exploitation. And most importantly, it was psychological abuse.
Definitely a psychological abuse. It's all about that the timing. They time it just right. Find somebody who's vulnerable and, blind, thinking that they found love.
But I want you to understand, the shame belongs to the people who did this. It doesn't belong to you. Mm-hmm. It could happen to any of us.
Yes.
So for anyone watching, if someone you meet online starts talking about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, investments, business opportunities, wire transfers, taxes or fees or accounts that are locked, or guaranteed profits, stop and talk to someone before you send any money, please. And the best thing you can do for yourself is don't keep it private. Don't let the relationship isolate you from talking to a family friend, talking to a family member, a trusted friend, your bank, law enforcement, or a professional who understands romance scams. So Lang, thank you once again for being with us. I will keep you in my thoughts and my prayers, and if I can ever return the favor, please don't hesitate to call. And to our viewers, thank you for tuning in on the podcast. Thank you for watching on the YouTube channel. And until next time, remember, we're not just dating, we are dating to win.
Thanks for listening to Dating to Win. If you're serious about improving your dating game, don't miss an episode. Hit the subscribe button or go to youtube.com/datingtowin25. Good luck out there, and we'll see you on the next episode of Dating to Win.